Welcome back to Strategic Leadership in the AI Era. I'm your host, and this is episode 16, When Machines Negotiate, AI at the Boardroom Table. Now, here's a question I want you to sit with for a moment. What if the most important negotiation of your career, a merger, an acquisition, a billion-dollar deal, was shaped not just by the people in the room, but by an algorithm running quietly in the background? That's not a hypothetical anymore. It's happening right now in boardrooms, in virtual data rooms, and in procurement departments across the world. Artificial intelligence is fundamentally changing how deals get done, from the way contracts are reviewed, to how risks are assessed, to how negotiators prepare before they ever sit down at the table. In this episode, we're going to pull back the curtain on this transformation. We'll look at real data, real companies, and real results. We'll explore where AI is already outperforming human teams and where human instinct still reigns supreme. And by the end, you'll have a much clearer picture of how the smartest deal makers in the world are blending algorithmic precision with human intuition to close better deals faster. So, let's get into it. Let's start with the numbers because the scale of what's happening is staggering. In 2025, the technology sector alone generated 165 deals valued at more than $100 million each. The cumulative deal value, $236 billion. That's according to data from Equirus, one of the leading investment banking firms tracking M&A activity. $236 billion in tech deals alone. And a significant portion of those deals were touched by AI at some stage of the process. Now, here's what makes this even more interesting. McKinsey and Company published a major report in January 2026 titled Gen AI in M&A, From Theory to Practice to High Performance. And in that report, they surveyed deal makers across the industry. What they found was remarkable. 40% of respondents said that generative AI enabled 30 to 50% faster deal cycles. Let me say that again. 30 to 50% faster. And the respondents who were actively using AI in their M&A activities reported an average cost reduction of roughly 20% across the deal process. 42% of all respondents said they believe generative AI has the potential to either transform or bring highly differentiating capabilities to the entire deal process. These aren't projections from futurists. These are numbers from people who are doing deals right now, today, and seeing measurable results. And McKinsey went further. They estimated that within the next 2 to 3 years, there will be Gen AI-enabled tools that automate more than half of all integration-related tasks in mergers and acquisitions. More than half. That's a seismic shift in how post-merger integration gets planned and executed. Now let's talk about where AI has already made its biggest impact in the deal world, and that's due diligence. If you've ever been involved in a merger or acquisition, you know that due diligence is the backbone of every deal. It's where you dig into the financials, the contracts, the regulatory filings, the customer agreements, the intellectual property, everything. Traditionally, this process has been incredibly labor-intensive. You'd have teams of junior analysts and associates spending weeks, sometimes months, manually reviewing thousands of documents, page by page, line by line, looking for red flags, hidden liabilities, change of control clauses, anything that could affect the deal. And here's the problem with that approach. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's prone to human error. When you're asking a team of people to review 10,000 pages of legal documents under time pressure, things get missed. Important things. AI has changed this equation entirely. Take Luminance, for example. Luminance is an AI-powered contract review platform that's now used by over 1,000 companies worldwide. Their technology can achieve a 90% reduction in contract review time with 98% accuracy, 90% faster. Think about what that means. A review that used to take your legal team 3 weeks can now be completed in a matter of days, or even hours for smaller document sets. Then there's Kira Systems, now part of Latira, which is widely regarded as the market leader in AI-powered contract analysis. Kira uses a hybrid approach, combining proprietary AI models to extract and analyze key provisions from contracts. The results? A 60 to 90% reduction in review time, with extraction accuracy exceeding 95%. And Deloitte, one of the big four, has reported that their AI-powered due diligence processes have cut evaluation time from 8 weeks down to just 2 weeks. From 8 weeks to 2. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a fundamental restructuring of how due diligence gets done. What these tools do is remarkable. They use natural language processing to scan thousands of pages of legal documents and automatically identify potential red flags. Things like unusual indemnification clauses, change of control provisions, non-compete restrictions, or regulatory compliance issues. They can cross-reference information across multiple documents simultaneously, flagging inconsistencies that a human reviewer might not catch until much later in the process. McKinsey's report highlighted that there are now AI tools that can access virtual data rooms and use generative AI to search, summarize, and organize thousands of diligence files. These tools can analyze financials, respond to common diligence questions, and enrich findings with both public and proprietary data on factors like customer sentiment and employee satisfaction. The competitive advantage here is real. Deals that previously required 3 to 6 months of due diligence can now be completed in 4 to 8 weeks. In competitive bidding situations, where speed can literally determine whether you win or lose the deal, that kind of acceleration is a game changer. Now, let's move from due diligence to something even more fascinating. AI as a direct participant in negotiations. This might sound like science fiction, but it's already happening at scale. And the results are genuinely surprising. Let's start with one of the most well-known examples, Walmart. In a widely studied case, Walmart partnered with a company called Pactum AI to deploy an AI-powered chatbot to negotiate with its tail-end suppliers, those smaller vendors that account for a significant portion of total spend, but don't typically get the attention of senior procurement teams. Here's what happened. 68% of suppliers agreed to negotiate with the chatbot. Think about that. More than 2/3 of suppliers were willing to sit down, so to speak, with a machine. And the results were compelling. Walmart gained an average of 1.5% in savings on the spend it negotiated through the chatbot. It also negotiated an average 35-day extension on payment terms. And perhaps most importantly, these negotiations were completed in days rather than weeks. Now, 1.5% might not sound like a lot, but when you're talking about Walmart's scale of procurement, billions of dollars in annual spend, that translates into enormous savings. And it freed up human negotiators to focus on the high-value, strategic relationships where their skills matter most. But Walmart isn't alone. A case study published by E. Moldino, a supply chain analytics firm, documented how AI-powered supplier negotiation techniques led to a 40% reduction in procurement costs. 40%. And according to industry reports, generative AI negotiation assistants are now delivering 20 to 25% better pricing outcomes across various procurement settings. Now, here's where it gets really interesting from an academic perspective. In 2025, researchers at MIT, led by Professor Sinan Aral, conducted what is believed to be the largest AI negotiation study ever. They facilitated over 180,000 AI agent negotiations across multiple diverse scenarios and objectives. 180,000 negotiations. The scale of that research is unprecedented. What did they find? Something that might surprise you. The fundamental principles from established human negotiation theory, things like building rapport, understanding the other party's interests, finding creative solutions. These principles remain crucial even in AI to AI negotiations. The machines that performed best were the ones that had been trained on sound negotiation theory. Warmth and strategic dominance both contributed to better outcomes. And then there's the research published in Harvard Business Review in September 2024. Researchers used AI to analyze hundreds of hours of negotiation recordings from MBA students. They wanted to find the single most effective negotiation tactic. And what they discovered was elegantly simple. Negotiators who ask more open-ended questions achieve higher personal gains, without compromising their counterparts' interests. In other words, the best negotiators aren't the ones who talk the most or push the hardest. They're the ones who ask the right questions. And AI helped uncover that insight by processing volumes of data that no human research team could have analyzed manually. Let's go deeper into the behavioral dynamics, because this is where things get nuanced and really important for anyone thinking about deploying AI in their negotiation processes. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Purchasing and Supply Management in 2025 by researchers Silke Harold, Jonas Heller, Frank Rosemeyer, and Dominic Marr conducted 3 experiments examining how AI chatbots perform in buyer-supplier negotiations. In these experiments, participants played the role of the supplier, while a custom-trained ChatGPT-based chatbot acted as the buyer. The findings were fascinating and carry real strategic implications. When the AI chatbot deployed a competitive negotiation approach, being more assertive, pushing harder on price, it achieved higher price discounts, better payment terms, and quicker negotiations. From a pure economic standpoint, the competitive AI negotiator won. But here's the catch. When the chatbot used a collaborative approach, being more cooperative, seeking mutual benefit, suppliers reported significantly higher levels of trust. They expressed greater satisfaction with the outcome, and critically, they demonstrated a stronger desire for future interaction. This is a crucial insight for any business leader thinking about AI in negotiations. If you're negotiating a one-time transaction where you'll never see the other party again, a competitive AI approach might maximize your short-term gains. But if you're building long-term supplier relationships, which most businesses are, the collaborative approach builds the trust and goodwill that sustain partnerships over time. The researchers also found something else interesting through text analysis of the chat interactions. When the AI used a competitive tone, suppliers matched that tone. They became more insistent and used more intimidating language themselves. The AI's approach essentially set the emotional temperature of the entire negotiation. That's a powerful finding because it means the way you program your AI negotiator doesn't just affect your outcomes, it shapes the entire dynamic of the relationship. Now, I want to be very clear about something because I think it's important to maintain perspective here. AI is a phenomenally powerful tool in negotiations and deal making, but it is not a replacement for human judgment in every situation. There are dimensions of negotiation where human beings still hold an irreplaceable advantage. First, there's relationship building. The most important deals in business aren't just about numbers. They're about trust, about shared vision, about the personal connection between leaders who are going to work together for years after the deal closes. No algorithm can replicate the trust that's built over a dinner conversation, or the intuition that tells you whether someone is genuinely committed to a partnership or just going through the motions. Second, there's creative problem solving in ambiguous situations. AI excels when the parameters are well defined. Price, terms, quantities, timelines. But many of the most important negotiations involve issues that are hard to quantify. Cultural fit between two merging organizations. The vision for a combined company's future. How to handle sensitive personnel decisions. These require the kind of empathetic, creative thinking that remains distinctly human. Third, there's reading the room. Experienced negotiators develop an almost instinctive ability to sense when the other party is bluffing, when they're genuinely at their limit, when there's an unspoken concern that needs to be addressed. While AI sentiment analysis is advancing rapidly, the subtlety of human emotional intelligence in high-stakes, face-to-face negotiations is still unmatched. The smartest approach, and this is what the data consistently shows, is not to choose between AI and human negotiators. It's to combine them. Use AI for preparation, for analysis, for processing vast amounts of data and identifying patterns. Then bring in your best human talent for the relationship building, the creative problem solving, and the final handshake. McKinsey's research supports this. The deal makers who are seeing the best results aren't the ones who've fully automated their processes. They're the ones who've built what McKinsey calls AI-augmented deal teams, where technology handles the data-intensive work and humans focus on strategy, relationships, and judgment calls. So let's bring this all together with some practical takeaways that you can apply in your own organization. Number one, start with due diligence. If you're involved in M&A or any kind of deal making, AI-powered contract review and due diligence tools offer the most immediate and measurable return on investment. The data is clear: 60 to 90% time savings, accuracy rates above 95%, and the ability to uncover risks that human reviewers might miss. If you're not using these tools yet, you're leaving time and money on the table. Number two, use AI as your preparation partner. Before your next major negotiation, consider how AI could help you prepare. Can it analyze the other party's public filings, press releases, and market position? Can it model different scenarios and predict likely outcomes based on historical data? Can it help you identify your best alternatives and your walkaway points? The Harvard Business Review research showed that the best negotiators are the ones who ask the right questions. AI can help you figure out what those questions are before you ever walk into the room. Number 3, think carefully about tone and approach. The research from the Journal of Purchasing and Supply Management tells us that how you program your AI negotiation tools matters enormously. A competitive approach might win you better terms in the short run, but a collaborative approach builds the trust that sustains long-term partnerships. Match your AI's approach to your strategic objectives. Number 4, don't underestimate the human element. AI is a tool, a powerful one, but the most successful deals will always involve human judgment, human creativity, and human relationships. Invest in your people's negotiation skills alongside your technology investments. The future belongs to organizations that can seamlessly blend both. And number 5, stay ahead of the curve. McKinsey estimates that within 2 to 3 years, AI tools will be able to automate more than half of all integration-related tasks in M&A. The organizations that are investing in these capabilities now will have a significant competitive advantage over those that wait. That's our deep dive into AI at the boardroom table. The transformation is already underway, from the way contracts are reviewed, to how risks are assessed, to how negotiations are conducted and deals are closed. The numbers tell a compelling story. 20% cost reductions, 30 to 50% faster deal cycles, 90% time savings in contract review. But behind those numbers is a more fundamental shift in how business gets done. The deal makers who embrace AI as a strategic partner, not a replacement for human judgment, but a powerful complement to it, are the ones who will define the next era of business. Here's your challenge for this week. Think about your last major negotiation or deal. Where could AI have given you an edge? In preparation, in analysis, or in execution? Explore the AI-powered due diligence and negotiation tools that are available today, and consider how they could transform your next transaction. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with the deal makers, strategists, and business leaders in your network. Subscribe to Strategic Leadership in the AI Era wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a review. It helps more leaders discover these conversations. Until next time, keep leading strategically, keep embracing innovation, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. This has been Strategic Leadership in the AI Era. See you in the next episode.